What record did you bring?
All these. Oh, it's a music thing. What's it called?
YouTube, I love YouTube.
My aunt has one with the wooden one.
You know,
Wooden box one.
I have a 45 Elvis Presley now.
It has a 45 adapter.
I have the actual record.
The thing doesn't look that big. I have Prince 1999 and
Prince!
How to Use Home.
We love Prince! I love Prince!
Yeah, I was born 1999.
You were?
Yeah. How come those ones are so small and these ones are so big? They're different. It's like there's only 2 songs on the whole thing.
You gotta play.
So I have YouTube.
They play a lot of YouTube. The only reason I don't like them is because they were so overplayed in the 80s. Every time I hear a particular song, it's like, okay, I remember that song.
This is a trilogy.
You know, I was supposed to go to a Sinatra concert. We had tickets. This was probably about 5 years before he died. And something happened. I think one of my kids got sick, so we couldn't be in with my mom. I've always regretted that.
They would have been sick. This is the double.
I love that.
Yeah.
More Sinatra. These are cool, Libby.
This one is a rap album. It's a double LP, and I got this one for $30. But it came with a poster.
Cool.
So, and this one's kind of scratched.
Easy top I've ever done today.
And then I have this whole double LP.
Those are cool. They've got a couple good songs too. Wow, you got good taste in music. You know, I got, except for that one, I got all these here for $1 each. My brother went to a concert back in the day, and he got a bootleg album from each one, and he had 2 of the same copy of the bootleg Led Zeppelin album. It had a green record and a blue record. It had so many songs on it, and it was made by Big Records. He gave it to me, and had it for many, many years. And they couldn't find it when I moved, so it got stolen. Possibly when my teenagers had friends over. Maybe it got broken and thrown away. I told my brother, he's got them all stored. I said, please give me that album again. He's like, I only have the 1 copy left. It's really sad.
We're gonna play it?
I did.
My mom has a record player. I just realized that it's a big wooden one and it has a stereo on it.
Really?
You looked it up.
Be careful though, they're so cool. You just gotta be careful because they're so cool.
But it's not the one that twists. It's like it has a big record thing you just put in like
Yeah, you see that?
Interesting.
They're always useful. You like what? You can watch that.
I love the Talking Heads when I hear them when I'm driving. They're fun driving.
Yeah.
I rock out early work. Oh, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna get it off right now.
You know what you need?
You guys, I was feeling like I was gonna faint. It was like I had to eat.
You know
Sorry.
what really carries on here to work? It's like, it's going to go stick.
What?
Sticky. It's like anything, whatever
Yeah.
it's called, so.
You know what? I'm gonna get it off this water. It's gonna
Yeah.
It's gonna come off. Don't let it dry.
Those stick things is a good idea though. I usually don't spill anything on myself. There. It's gonna be gone. It better be gone. And like a big spot on my Rio shirt. Oh well. Next Friday.
But this Friday is a 3-day weekend. No school this Friday.
There's next Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
27th.
Not this Friday.
But this Friday. That's cool.
Well,
My grandma be in town this week.
so this morning I asked my husband, I said, well, it's Friday, what do you want to do tonight? You want to do anything? He goes, I want to go to Walmart. I'm like, okay,
You know
that's
what we
that's
call
my
it?
Friday night date.
You know
going to
what?
Walmart.
No, we call it Waldy Room.
Volleyball, we do too. But like, that's my Friday night date.
Walmart is, I think it's so far for Walmart now. It's so
You
good.
know what though? If you go to Walmart like before dinner time on a Friday night, it's not very crowded. Because everybody goes home from work and then they like have their dinner and then they go to Walmart on a Friday. So we go right as soon as my husband gets home and it's not that crowded.
Exactly. Like when I go in the morning, it's not crowded. We like the one in Orlando. One in
Hello, people.
What do you do that?
I threw a shirt and that's why. I just threw a shirt.
Sure.
No, a shirt can. Shirt.
Oh,
Smile, depressed.
yeah, you can't see my spot.
Your
There you go. Nobody else heard it.
This walk is
Who?
this walk there. Just picture it.
Oh, yeah.
No, she's not here. Usually she rides with me in the morning time, but
Gianni had. Here.
What?
I didn't say anything.
You're looking, your eyes do a lot of talking.
Well, there's nothing really to look at.
we don't say anything a little bit.
Finish this?
Nothing.
Steve, that's what, thank you.
You
know,
Yeah, you should.
you guys get your books out, or I'm gonna come
I
in
got
and
mine.
take names.
I'm the only one with a book at.
Good job.
All you want to study is only half of the class.
It does a taste good.
Again, those talents don't be here. That's a small class.
This is 3 people.
students. Yes.
Look what I brought.
Whoa. Allman Brothers. Wow. Sinatra.
That is
Blue
cool
eyes.
stuff.
That's a lot of Sinatra. Wow, that's really, oh, that's the album that came out when I saw them in Stockton. That's really cool. Now, did you bring this in here and plugged it in because you want me to play it?
Yeah.
As we, okay. I'm gonna play the Allman Brothers. And I play
Chris
the
wants
Allman
to
Brothers.
hear,
Oh, Chris.
Fucking
Oh,
hell.
I'm sorry.
Your brothers are too late now.
the
Prince, 1999. Hey, Taisha was born in 1999.
Yeah.
Me too.
You too?
Yeah, I wanna hear that freaking album right there. Prince, really? Hey guys, take out your books. We'll play the music in the background. I have no problem with that. It's kind of cool. Let's not ever do that again. And,
You do it all the time.
what's that?
You do it all the time.
I do what all the time?
Music.
Oh yeah, no. I was joking.
Shush.
Ryan?
Now, is he in here with you this period?
No. Why is he in here? Was he sent here?
I don't know. His class this period is, okay.
Oh, right, yeah, he's in with us. You know what? Hey, Ryan, let's try to do this seriously. When that's done, let's try to get him in that room. Are you testing anyone this period?
No.
Let's try to get him to work on that test.
With me, he
Here's what
did
I'm
the
gonna-
whole thing.
Wait, he did the whole thing?
Done, except
Wait, I asked you this morning if it was done and you said no.
what he didn't do was all the genetics problems. And I don't know how to do them, so I don't know if he does, he did this. Rashir said, just let him do what he can.
Oh, well then
So-
turn it in.
Okay,
Then we're good.
that's what I'm thinking.
Can you do this? So I don't have to put this on Trevor because I want Trevor, but Trevor was gonna do this for me today. But I wanted to work on
You're gonna
that.
have me do it. I have fucking earth science to correct, and I have to figure out what tests I've got in this drawer. You said no tests.
Those tests.
Turn this top all the way. Relax. So I gotta go follow.
No, what we're gonna do, hey Ryan, come here, bud.
Ask him if he's done
With what?
the test. If he-
No, we're gonna turn it in.
Okay,
He's
okay,
done.
I'll take it over.
Make an executive decision.
So I'm gonna go do that in 2 minutes because I've got Pierce's.
Oh, that's
And then I'll
not,
come right back.
that's not,
And I'm gonna-
that's not critical.
But I've gotta take Pierce's work to her too. I talked to her earlier today, so I'm gonna be gone for a couple minutes and I'll be right back.
That's fine. Hey Ryan. Hold on. You like the song? Yeah. It's 1999. Hey, when Chris comes back, so I want you to stay around this area. She's gonna read you some questions from this, and we're gonna take the answers, and she's gonna, so I need you to work with her, okay? She'll ask you questions, like, for example, and it's only the first 9 pages.
Okay.
We're not doing the
And
entire
just
thing.
you write it in there, what he answers? Okay.
Yeah, because I want to try to get, I don't want things just checked off arbitrarily.
You want me to do that first?
Totally up
I
to
can
you.
do
Well,
it.
let's, no, no,
Let's
let's
all do it.
enjoy the song. Run your errands, right? And then I'm gonna have you, Ryan, work on, you're gonna wait for Chris by reading. Where's your diary of a wimpy kid?
I turned it into the library.
Oh, that's right, you had to turn it in. Do you wanna check out a new book?
I'm good.
Okay. Then I am going to have you work on your story, because you haven't typed up my story yet. Okay? You wanna use my computer to type it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put it on Word. Remember, we're not going on this to, play on the internet. You guys take out your textbooks, we're gonna need that.
I'll be back pretty quick.
Okay.
So, Mr. Waltz, does that survey start on page 1?
At 10:45, we're gonna be visited by our program specialist,
Okay.
very likely. And just a heads up.
I thought you wanted to hear the, Mr. Wallace.
I do. Almond Brothers.
Mr. Wallace, I'm not familiar with the survey. Does it start on page 1, or will you show me when I get back?
Yeah, I think it's just pages 1 through 9. It's straightforward. What they do is they'll ask questions. I like or I'm good at, and then you'll just ask, and then you'll just read down the list.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. And it'll say things like, I like working on cars, I like working on models. And then if he likes them, you mark them. And then once it's done, you don't have to grade it. We'll give it to the text. Here you go, Ryan.
Okay.
Let me close out. Ryan, no out.
Dora!
Oh, boy.
Dora!
Ryan, get in.
Dora!
And I'm gonna put this on 14-point font so I can read it when you're done. We're gonna double space. And I want you to try to fill up as much as you can, 2 pages. I want you to have a seat. You're gonna write a story about,
Is it skipping again?
write a story about what you want to do.
No?
Okay, sit down and seat. Alright guys, open up your textbooks to the chapter on taxes.
Mr. Wallace, would it be
Taxation.
okay if I work on it?
That's fine. You guys on taxes, let's talk about this. Okay, federal, you guys remember that? I was on the page. Turn to find the page. Good Lord, is this Alvin and the Chipmunks?
Sounds like it.
I was wondering, like, I've never heard Almond Brothers at such a high speed. What are you doing? Where are you going? Where's your textbook? I just said, take out your textbooks. Would you get your textbook? Is that his textbook? No, don't do that. I told him, but he has to come back, and what is he going to use? Well, then what are you going to use? So get your book. Yes, it's not right.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome, Sam.
You're a sucker. You know what? That's a gentlemanly thing, but you don't want to take advantage of people's.
I was using it until she came back.
You're going to get up and get your textbook.
Yeah.
All right, guys, page 335. 335, the federal income tax. This is where we stopped yesterday. Actually,
That's the volume.
volume is where? The big one?
Yeah.
Capricorn Records. That brings back memories. 335, guys. Everybody on 335? Nico, you back on 335? Are you back there losing yourself in Nico-ness? All right. Nico, I'm going to have you start us off. The federal income tax. So I'm going to write some points on the board here. Excuse me, Ryan. Let me just move you a little to the left. Thank you, sir. You're good.
Okay, I'll be back.
Little brainstorming. We will read. Don't worry. I'll get it back to us. I'm going to point to you and you tell me one thing taxes will pay for. Don't be general, be specific. Go, Samantha. Give me one thing taxes pay for. One thing taxes pay for. You're in it right now.
School.
What are you? You just can't quit me, can you? You love me so much, you just can't keep away from me. I get it. I don't blame you.
That's math?
Yeah.
If we can't.
No, that's Omar.
You know, he's got math though, and I'm really happy about that because I can do nothing for him. Sorry, Omar.
What did you just say?
School.
Schools. All right, Ty.
What class are you from? I came from math.
Omar, did you want me to help you with the bio? Let's do it on Monday. Not
Or
next Thursday.
if you see something like this, what at schools does it pay for? Things like what?
Teacher.
Teachers. Oh, good. I like that.
Lunch.
Teachers. Hold on.
What?
Teachers,
There
yes.
you go.
Free. Actually, I'm not going to use the word free. I'm going to use the word subsidized lunches. What else do you get?
Buses,
Good.
transportation,
Busing. What else?
books,
Books. Tyler, what else?
Like school related or
Yeah. Something school related that taxes pay for.
electricity we use?
Excellent. Excellent.
Chairs, materials,
Be more specific.
chairs.
What else?
School supplies.
Be specific. Well, no. Do I supply you guys with paper? Yes and no. We create paper,
TV,
but okay, very good. TVs.
computers,
So I'm going to write this word right here.
Electronics.
Media. And media would include things like TVs. What else? What other kind of media? Nico, give me one form of media besides TVs that are used in schools that you guys have access to. Computers. What else? Okay, now we can move beyond schools, but nice job, guys. Well, actually, what else?
Food.
Food, subsidized lunches. But that's good. What else? It could be school, you can move beyond school if you want. What else do taxes pay for?
The air conditioning.
Electricity,
Okay.
daycare. In some instances, but not at a level that, generally speaking, no. Most people have to pay for their own daycare. Okay? So you're not gonna get that from the school, yes.
PE equipment.
PE equipment, okay, good. Equipment, PE equipment, what else? Okay, let's move beyond schools now. What else does taxes pay for? Yes.
Food stamp.
Okay. Social services, like, we don't call it food stamps anymore. You know what it's called, Tyler? It's called EBT.
Yeah.
EBT, it's an electronic type of food stamps. Social Security, very good. Ryan, you can't run off. You can go out real quick and then come back and get back to work, okay? One little break and then come back. What else? Food, we're not going to say food because that's part of EBT. The ability to purchase food through EBT. Sometimes food, in the old days, I don't know if they still do. When I first arrived here and our family was very poor, we would get, I think I've mentioned this before, government cheese. This is really important because it had both calcium, protein, all of these things that you needed to stay alive. So you could get, the government would give out these 5-pound blocks of cheese. Big long log of cheese, you could get it. And I remember people going onto the bus and selling their government cheese. Say, I got some government cheese here, I'll sell for a couple bucks, which was a good deal compared to buying it at the store. People would buy it, and, usually it was some young dude who would be wanting to sell it, and I think it was understood that they were going to go buy drugs or alcohol with it, but hey, he got what he wanted, he got cash for it, and a person could get what they want, they got food. What else?
Disability.
Disability. So Social Security. What else? What other types of social services?
Alta.
Also very good. What else? We can move beyond social security. Other things that taxes pay for.
What's it called? When they fix the grounds.
When they fix the ground, so are we talking, when they say the ground, are you talking about highways?
Yeah.
Okay. Transportation. I'm going to throw that out, and that means highways. We're talking interstates,
Buses.
buses.
Like
How about medical? Medical care.
All right, Medicaid. Maintenance. buses,
What about,
light rail. What about what? You guys doing a great job. What's that?
Section 8?
Section 8?
How is it?
Something's going on out there.
Very good. What else? Yeah, something's going on out there. You got a bunch of geese flying by honking.
Yeah.
Give me another thing that taxes pay for, Nico. Oh, quiet one. By the way, I saw Ray yesterday. I was riding on my bike on the way to school and I waved at him and he waved back and I said, I don't know if he has my number. Do you have my number? Do you have my phone number?
No.
How come? What if there's an emergency? I told you if there's an emergency, I told your mom you can call me. How are you going to get a hold of me if you don't have my number? Right? We're family, right? And then if I need something from you, I can call you, right? So it's like, hey, Nico, I need someone to go out and buy me some beer. And I'm stuck at home. So can you go out and do that? You do that for me, right? Dude, no you won't. That'd be illegal. Don't do something illegal. I don't care if I ask you to. Alright. Give me another thing that taxes pay for, Nico.
Construction.
Instruction already up there. Schools, teachers right there.
No, construction.
Oh, construction of what? Let's be specific. So we got like transportation. So like, hey guys, when they're building roads, oh, okay, I'll let it pass. Go ahead. You guys want to watch? Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor's class. We're gonna
You
go
went to the
vote.
vote?
They want to go what?
Do
We're
you
gonna go
vote?
vote.
For what?
I don't know. Yeah, that wasn't disruptive. Yeah, I'm listening to the Allman Brothers.
I brought my record player.
Capricorn
Can you turn it
Records.
down?
Can I turn it down? I'm gonna turn you down. Look at that ass, huh?
You guys hear me?
I got that double OP for a
I can't hear it over here.
In good shape too?
Yeah. Most of those were $1.
You're so
No, I'm trying to
so
teach
much drama.
The one day I finally teach these guys, and
You're always teaching.
you gotta cut.
I know.
You tell you about this baconator through the weekend? Sorry.
See, what'd you go and do that for? Yeah, I did. So my son was with me Wednesday. He spent the night, and he wanted Wendy's, so I took him to Wendy's, and he ordered 2 Baconators, chicken that he freaking eats like crazy, and French fries. And when he was done, he left one of his Baconators in my fridge. So this morning I woke up and I look in my fridge, I'm getting some snacks to take to school, and I look and I see this Baconator. Oh, that fool left it, so I threw it away. I didn't even think.
You should have him.
I should have brought it
No,
here and given it
you
to
know
one
what
of you
else?
guys.
He,
Ryan?
when he
Only-
said that,
Hold on, Samantha. Hey, Ryan, I don't mind you going out there, you take a short break, take your break, and then come back and keep typing, okay?
Yeah.
So if you leave, just make sure you stay close to the classroom and then come back.
since he makes it food, you should have him take you out to dinner.
No, I'm gonna ask him for $4 to pay for it. Cause I bought him food, but if I gotta throw it away, he's gonna, now that he has a job, he can pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Give me 2 more things, then we'll move on. 2 other things. What's the main thing we spend most of our money on? A huge part of our money. Defense.
The
Yeah, that's
emergency
what I was
people.
gonna say.
What does that mean?
Is that,
Military.
yeah, the military.
And then what else? What's another one? In construction, you're right. The construction, and this is going to be called, here, I'm gonna go like this, and I'm gonna go infrastructure. Transportation structure. Transportation is a type of infrastructure, but when we build buildings, federal buildings and stuff to house the FBI, stuff like that, that requires construction. And it's not that the federal government builds it, they contract out. So it keeps like, they'll send out bids to private companies, and then they get to build it. So let's say Tyler owns a construction company, and he'll want a government bid because they pay good money. So that's why people are they're really suspicious about government officials who award contracts to people they know. Like if I own a company, let's say I own a major construction company, guys, okay? I better not award a government contract to my company, right? That would look really bad to the taxpayers. It's like, well, why didn't this go to somebody else? So construction is another type of.
What about the emergency people?
Emergency people, give me an example, like what? Good.
Ambulances.
What's that?
Firefighters.
So most ambulances, guys, just so you guys know, are privately owned. But you're right, EMTs, yeah, firefighters,
Cops.
Firefighters,
Fighters.
police,
Ian.
this is
But it's usually paid for by the county now.
emergency, well,
And
it's paid for by the county through what, Tyler?
Taxes.
Well, the federal government.
Does the county there's somebody sitting at the county, they said, you need some money? Here, there's some
It
money.
doesn't come directly from the federal government.
Does this say federal government? What does this say? What does this say?
This says taxes.
Taxes, did I write federal?
No.
No. Okay? Don't go getting all up under my grill when there ain't no grill to get up under. Do you like that? Do you like the way I said that? And I just put him in his place? All right, give me a fist bump right there. Yeah, son. Be careful, I'll have Omar. I'll sick him on you. Actually, Omar's too nice. He just like pat you on the top of the head and say, hey. Now I'll give you a no. Yeah. Omar's like thinking, man, Wallace, where I come from, I'll whoop your ass. Talk to me like that. The federal, now, so these are taxes, you're right. I mean, I know that, I think you were focused on, it's my fault because I said, let's talk about the federal income tax. But then I realized, you know what, let's just talk about taxes first. Now, some of these things, and firefighters and police actually, oh, by the way, the federal government does subsidize some of their stuff. For example, and this has concerned a lot of citizens, have you ever heard this term, the militarization of the police force? Have you guys ever heard that term before? No? Yes?
I don't think so.
Okay, so what a lot of people are concerned with is the military. The United States government has given police forces monies and equipment that's left over from the military. And so when you see like these armored vehicles pulling into towns, minesweepers that have become like armored vehicles, and they pull into a neighborhood where there's maybe protests and stuff, a lot of people think that sends a really bad message to the community. That's as if, you know, our military doesn't get involved in protests, things like that. You guys realize that, right?
Yeah.
So we have this law of what they call this understanding. You ever heard of something called passe comitatus?
No.
No? Look it up. You got a gadget? You don't get access to a gadget. Who has a gadget here? She's working. Can you look up passe comitatus? So passe.
What is passe?
You know what? I'll tell you what. Let me just stop. I'm not going to. I don't want to. What it is it's basically the separation of when the military is used as a police force. Okay? This is passe comitatus. This is a community posse. And then we don't want this. Here in America, that makes a lot of people uncomfortable when the military comes in and enforces laws. Okay?
I said passe to Siri and it said something else and Siri said your language.
Oh, because it probably thought you meant the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's passe comitatus. If you say that, passe comitatus. Go ahead, turn it up.
Passe comitatus.
Does it say back what it is, or is it text?
It does say it, but
Okay, what does it say? You want me to read it?
what is passe comitatus?
Yeah.
Takes a while to-
She takes a while. Is she single? Tell her Ron it says.
Oh, wow.
Here, take a picture of me and show it to her. She might want to hang out sometime. You're gonna go.
The Wi-Fi's not working at school.
Okay. All right. So back to this. So now we're gonna read federal income tax. Okay. Ready? Nico, start us off. Page 335.
The federal income tax, which applies to the income of individuals that are from their job and investments, is about $1 trillion.
Okay? We read this yesterday, so I'm not gonna have you guys do it. Tax return. So let's read tax return, that's the next. Payment of the federal income tax begins with the completion of a form known as a tax return. Tax returns are provided by and returned to the IRS, which is the government agency responsible for collecting federal income taxes. So that is the IRS. I want you guys to know, what is the IRS? What does that stand for?
Internal revenue.
Internal Revenue Service, and what do they do? We're on page 335 right now, in case you didn't know, okay? But right now, we're reading this section right here. And what they do is they gather all the money, and they make sure everyone pays into the federal income tax. Got it, guys? That's what the IRS does. By law, you have to file with the IRS, and let me let you guys know this right now. You guys, when you become adults and you do your own tax returns, if you guys do, don't cheat on them. You can be arrested. You can be fined. You can create a lot of problems for yourself if you cheat on them. Okay? Sometimes you might be able to find loopholes and you think, well, if I report this and they don't check, they do their checks through something called an audit. Okay? So I'm going to write this word too, IRS. Okay, I'm going to gather these together. IRS. Tax returns. This is how they get the money. This is how they organize that money. It's through your tax returns. And then they will apply an audit. This concept, guys, an audit is what happens when they want to check and make sure you're not lying. And they'll do it randomly. Sometimes there'll be red flags that will come up. For example, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you bank with some bank and all of a sudden one day you show up, you've been putting in $100 here, $100 there, and all of a sudden you show up with $10,000, a red flag is going to come up, and there might be an audit, there might be an investigation, there might be a report. Remember, banks are overseen by federal agencies, so it doesn't get the FBI involved, whoever. The IRS might get involved because they're going to want to know, where did you get this money? How did you suddenly, out of nowhere, get this money? And is it income? Is it taxable? We're going to want your money. I mean, we're going to, somehow you got some income coming in, and that income needs to be taxed. Again, you may walk out, but when you're done, hey, Chris,
you want to go work
you know what? I was going to say this, Chris. He is working on his essay right now, and he's doing a good job with that. I'm just going to help him do that.
Okay.
Okay? So you have a little break.
No, I don't.
Okay. Let's continue reading. The IRS is a branch of the U.S. Treasury Department. You know who else is part of the Treasury Department? I never knew this until I knew this. The Coast Guard. Why the Coast Guard?
Very
Why the Coast Guard? Why were you guys? Do you guys know what the Coast Guard is?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Coast Guard boats before? Either on big lakes or by the ocean? Why would the Coast Guard be a branch part of the Treasury Department? What does the Coast Guard do besides rescue people who are drowning at sea?
Stop people from coming in.
Well,
They stop people from coming in. What else?
They make
What else
sure
do they
that,
check?
Trade.
Trade. How do they regulate trade?
They,
This is excellent. Listen to Tyler.
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so I am a boat. Okay? I'm going to walk out of this room. Chris, you're going to stand right there. Chris is the Coast Guard. I'm a boat. I'm in international waters right here. Now, I am a boat and I am full of cars. I'm a boat from Japan and I'm full of cars. And I see Chris, wave to me, Chris. That's the Coast Guard. And then Chris go like this. Uh-oh, they want to board my boat. What do you think they're going to check my boat for?
Do you have any weapons or any stuff?
They're not looking for, they're not, I mean, they could, but I'm a Japanese freighter, and I'm bringing cars to America. Okay, I'm a Japanese company, and I'm delivering cars to America. So, listen, I'm not running the Japanese aren't running drugs, although they could. That doesn't mean that there aren't some company people hide drugs on there. I'm not running illegal aliens. The Japanese don't really do that. What is the Coast Guard being a branch of the Treasury Department? Remember, Treasury, IRS is part of the Treasury. What are they checking for? Let's say I'm reporting that my ship is full of $1,000 cars.
You need to get the test done, so I don't make it last all week.
I already had that conversation with her. Sorry, I'm just waiting. Okay, so I report that my ship is full of $1,000 cars. Now, guys, does the government charge me for bringing in cars to the country? Yeah, these are taxes, these are tariffs. It's not sometimes, it's all the time. The question is, how much in tariffs? How much in taxes? How much the right to sell cars? Okay? And I'm telling them that these are $1,000 cars. So if there's a 5% tax on 1,000 or a 5% tariff on $1,000 cars, what if my ship is full of $5,000 cars? And for a $5,000 car, I have to pay a 10% tariff. You following me here? Yes.
Do you know where C8 is?
C8?
Yes, I thought it
Yes.
was passing the bathroom.
At C8? Here's what I would do. I would just take it to the main office and just deliver it to them. And then they can send one of their runners, because I want you back in here to be either finish your English, so you can be part of the Econ discussion that we're having. Are you guys enjoying the Econ discussion today?
Yeah.
You're enjoying the Econ discussion today. You're missing out. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have Omar turn it into the main office. I trust you.
Omar and I are.
Libby, don't seem so down. You can enjoy the music.
We're gonna go in there and work on this.
Oh, he's not going to the main office?
No, he asked me if I would help him because I wasn't here first to finish with him. And so, if you want to do that,
He's good.
let me know.
He's good. No,
I've got stuff.
Ryan's working on his essay, right, Ryan? Yeah. Back to this. So, are you guys following me here? Do you understand what I'm saying? That, hey, Ryan, stay in here, please. Ryan. Okay, that's. Hey, Rita, I'm gonna kick you out of here if you're gonna do that. Okay? Right? You got me? And you too. So why don't you come sit over here, Rita? I'm gonna have you sit here. I'm gonna have you face this way. Then we won't have any issues. Okay. Back to this. So if I'm bringing in cars that are worth more money that I'm declaring, you guys following me here? That's like somebody saying that they're reporting to the IRS that they make $50,000 a year, when in fact they make $80,000 a year. Individuals do that, right? So companies might want to do that too. If I can sneak on my ship a bunch of really expensive stuff.
The way the placement of this stuff is.
You're gonna add to my stuff right now. Rita, you see what you're doing? You're killing me. You're killing me. Absolutely killing me. Well, I mean, if you're gonna put yourself, why would you put it right in front of the door? Okay. I know you didn't mean to. Okay, back to this. Taxpayers can blah 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 blah. I want to try to find payroll taxes. So payroll tax. So when you get paid, guys, you're going to get some deductions. You're going to get what's called a payroll tax. All of you will get a payroll tax, and all of you, hey, are we doing this or are we doing that? Are we listening right now? I know, but you can't do both. You can't concentrate on that, listen, okay, what I just said.
Taxes.
No, of course we're talking about that, but specifically, what did I just say? See, I think because you're concentrating on that, that's the problem. So you got different types of deductions from your paycheck. You're gonna get your federal income tax, you're gonna get a payroll tax, like guys, Social Security. So that is in addition to your federal income tax. Remember, the federal income tax is gonna pay for all of those big federally funded infrastructure. Our military is gonna be paid for that. All federal employees are paid through that. All the president's salary, senators' salary, all of the Congress's salary, all of the air conditioning that keeps those people cool in the summer, all of the highways, the interstates that you guys drive on, the Coast Guard, all of these things are paid. The IRS is all paid through the federal income taxes. Then you're going to get payroll deductions. Payroll taxes. Another tax, that's going to go into, another branch of it is going to go into Social Security. It's not part of federal income taxes, and Social Security taxes are separate. Federal income taxes pay for one thing. Payroll deduction that is dedicated to Social Security pays for Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid, Medicare, etc. Okay? So I want you guys to all turn to page 336. We're going to talk about some numbers. You don't have to remember these numbers. I just want you guys to know that this is one of those. When you look at your text, when you look at your paycheck, I'll tell you what, I'll bring in one of my paychecks and I'll just cross out all the numbers. Not that I really care if you guys know how much I make, because it's supposed to be public knowledge anyway. I can show you what deductions are taken out of my paycheck. So you guys have an idea of just how much is taken out. Okay. Second in size to the federal income tax is a series of payroll taxes. A payroll tax is a tax collected from employers on the basis of the wages and salaries paid to workers. The largest payroll tax is a Social Security tax, which funds retirement benefits. The Social Security tax rate in 2012 was 10.4% of a worker's earnings up to $110,100 and 0% for earnings beyond that amount. The tax payment is paid partly by employees and partly by employers. In 2012, employees paid 4.2% and employers paid 6.2%. The self-employed paid 10.4%. So do you guys understand what that means? Employees paid 4.2% and employers paid 6.2%. Okay, so what's the amount again? How much is taken out for Social Security in 2012? How much total was taken out by Social Security? For Social Security. It's right there, guys.
$31.92. $31.92.
Okay, it's 10.4% up to $110,000. Okay, so the employee isn't paying 10.4%. It's a deduction. Well, it's both employer and employee. The employer. So here's the thing: if I have a business, guys, if I'm a sole proprietor, you guys remember what a sole proprietor is?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good. I know you know. What's a sole proprietor, Samantha? Okay, if I'm running a business, I'm an independent business owner, and I'm a sole proprietor. That means I am legally responsible, totally and solely responsible for my business. Okay? So if I want to hire Andrew to come work at my computer store, and I want Andrew. Andrew dresses really nice. He's really presentable. He knows a lot about computers. I want him to work for me. I'm not just taking on Andrew. I don't have to just pay him. I have to pay part of that Social Security tax that he has to pay. It's 10.4% up to $110,000. As his employer, how much do I get taxed? That means my profits. This is why some people, they businesses, not only as a business owner do I get taxed, but I'm gonna have to pay, I'm taxed for my employees too. So how much of a tax do I have to pay for Andrew? You guys look at that, those numbers right there. 6.2%. Okay? And he's gonna come up with how much? How much does he have to pay? So if I pay him $10 an hour, out of his paycheck is how much for Social Security? How much does he pay? Say it.
4.2.
4.2. Remember, the total is 10.4. So you say 6.2 plus 4.2. It comes out to up to $110,000. Okay? Into Social Security. Other payroll taxes pay for Medicare, disability, and uninsurance. So what do payroll taxes go to?
Taxes.
Social Security, what else? Social Security, Medicare, disability, and unemployment. Now you have to qualify for those, so you can't get out of a job, you can't claim, so here's what happens, let's say you get hurt on the job. Yeah, before you get that though, you have to prove it. So you're gonna have to have, so it's not like you just declare it, say, hey, I can't work anymore, my back's hurt, where's my money? I get disability, I get workman's comp, you gotta prove it, okay? And this is why businesses, they're so, if you get hurt on the job, they want you to report it right away. Okay, guys? So there's certain conditions that you have to meet in order to do these things. All right. Are there questions so far? No? Let's talk property taxes. That's on the next page. Take a look at it. Take 2 minutes and tell me what property taxes are. Read it. That's okay. They're welcome to come here. I believe that people are just checking out the class. Welcome. This is, hello, I'm Mr. Wallace.
Mrs. Miller?
Mrs. Miller, nice to meet you. This is an Econ class. You guys love Econ, right?
Yep.
Okay, I paid you.
Hi.
So far what we've been talking about are types of taxes, what taxes go to, and the types of taxes that they can expect to get taken out of their paychecks. Okay? Ryan, we'll get to that during 6th period. Okay? Did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Ryan probably wants to introduce himself.
Hi, Ryan.
You guys are reading about property taxes and you guys are gonna, okay? You guys wanted a break from my voice, so you get this is on page 337, you guys.
You're gonna walk around?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Good luck. So basically, a property tax pertains to what? What does it relate to?
If you own a property and you pay like a tax on owning it.
If you own the property, okay?
So it involves shareholders.
It involves shareholders under property tax, or you're reading corporate taxes?
Oh, yeah.
I think you're reading above it. That's okay though. Because remember, corporation has shareholders, right? Okay, so there will be taxes but let's go down to property taxes. So it would include what things constitute property?
Like,
Give me one thing. It's listed right there. Okay?
land,
Land constitutes buildings. What else?
cars,
Cars. What else? Boats. Okay. So these what we call, hey guys, you ready for this? Some tax people will call them big ticket items. So things like your house, the land that your house sits on. So guys, here's the deal. if you wanna buy a house, you buy a house, each year, you're gonna get taxes assessed to you. It's not like you own, what's that?
What if you have a cow or a horse?
Not true. You're gonna have to pay for the taxes on that house. So your house, so it's gonna be based on how much you paid for that house. But here's the thing, let's say I paid $20, let's say I have a parent who handed me a house for $20. Okay? Now the county though is gonna say, hold on, they're gonna do an assessment at some point. They're gonna say, that house is worth $1 million. We're taxing you based on $1 million house, not no $20 house. Okay? It doesn't work like that. So they're gonna do assessment fees. Now that might be, in 1 year, the first year that might happen, but the next year they're gonna say, because you could turn around and sell that house, and that house is no longer worth $1 million. Maybe the next year land values go up, that house is worth $2 million. The county's gonna want their money, okay? So they'll assess it. But just so you guys know, cars, again, big ticket items are what they're going to tax you on. And you gotta declare those things at the end of the year, okay? So if you turn around and sell them, and it's anything over a certain amount, you're gonna have to declare them. And when they say declaring your taxes, it means on your tax returns, you have to identify, guys, you have to identify what your income was.
What if someone puts something on, like, when you're not done with it, and you're just sitting there, your name on something that you're not paying for, and they don't pay it, is that gonna miss the person's?
Say it again?
Say if your parent, you're 16 or whatever, and your parents have a house that they don't want, and they put it in your name.
You don't wanna work on this now? This is a Spanish test, and you're sitting in on my desk, not done, and you're sitting.
I'm sitting, I didn't sit there.
No, I'm letting you know, she's wanting to finish at 5th, yet she's sitting there with nothing to do. So,
So you have 7 more minutes.
yeah, you need to be
You
working
keep
on
working on it.
it. You can't keep putting it off.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
a great student, you just gotta get past that, okay?
Ask me again.
If someone, a parent gives their child, put their child's name on a house, and they're not paying it, if they stop paying that house.
So guys, I don't know enough, so there's something that that's called a gift of equity, okay? There's a lot of different rules that apply, and a lot of it's gonna depend on what state you live in too. So different states, so I don't have an easy answer for you, but here's a basic answer. Anything that you get that's worth a lot of money, guys, let's go back to this word, big ticket item. Those aren't celebrities. You're gonna be paying taxes on it. Somehow, some way, the government, whether it's the county or the federal government, the state government, they're gonna want their money. Okay, yes?
My mom was gonna gift a piece of property to me in the state of California, it was about 15 years ago. She would have had to pay 12% to the IRS prior to gifting it to me. So if it was worth $100,000, in order for her to gift it to me, she would have had to pay the IRS $12,000. So that's an approximation, so there are penalties and fees that you have to do to gift it.
Mhm.
Yeah, if someone dies and leaves you a piece of property, there's so much that doesn't get taxed, okay, up to a certain amount. So yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, the thing is, when the time comes, this is why a lot of people will hire accountants to handle their business. Because what happens is, if you don't report accurately, you either pay me now or pay me later. If you don't report in the IRS, what's the word? What's the key? What's the A word here? It's called an audit. And they do an audit of your finances, of your income, and they notice these things, and you declare them. And the thing is, it's easy for them to find this information out. Like, you can't say, well, they don't need to know that I have a house. Look, that's all public record. The county has all of that information, and if they audit you, that's an easy, especially with the computer age. They're one click away from finding out what you have. Okay, so you got to be really careful with this stuff. You don't want to get audited because most people don't save their receipts. Most people don't have a paper trail of the things that they have sold or not sold. I mean, they don't keep them. Some people do. My mom's meticulous with that kind of stuff. She has boxes full of stuff that goes back years and years and years. But then other people don't, like me. I go back 1 year, and then I toss it all, or I'll shred it. Okay, so that's a lot of information. You guys have done a hell of a job. Do you guys have questions? Okay, so real quick, taxes. What are taxes? Those are payments to whom? Andrew? You're right. Taxes are payments to whom, Andrew? It's not in your book. Look at me. When we say taxes, who are we referring to? You're going to give your money to the government. Very good. And it's going to pay for what? Pay for things like Social Security. Very good, Samantha. What else will it pay for? Schools. What else? Military. And it pays for federal employees too when we talk about federal income taxes. Okay? Huge chunk of it goes to the military. Huge chunk of it goes to infrastructure, or, I'm sorry, not infrastructure, federal employees and their benefits. Because you're not just paying for federal employees now, just like me, when you're paying you're paying into my retirement system too. Okay? Okay, so, and then what agency does the government use to collect your taxes, guys? The IRS. What does IRS stand for, Tai? The Internal Revenue Service. So revenue means money coming in, basically income. It's money coming in. So they want to control that money that flows into your pockets and bank accounts. Okay? And what, guys, what is the mechanism that the IRS uses to keep track of your money? Nope. Nope. Your tax returns. That's the mechanism they use. Okay? So they're going to tax you, and then they might tax you again. They're going to tax you, they're going to have you report, and they might owe you money, because they might have taken too much out, or they might want more money from you. And that's why some people, like, I would really like to see a flat tax.
Yeah.
Okay? But the biggest, you guys know who the biggest opponents of a flat tax are?
President.
Nope.
The government.
Nope. Corporations. Because if we do a 25% flat tax, there are some corporations that pay nothing. Nothing. They can hide their money, they play what they call a shell game with their money. They can put it into LLCs, they can put it in offshore account. They pay nothing, they don't want to see that. I would love to see it though, I think that would be fair. But there are other people who would say that if corporations actually did it, would they stay in the United States? Maybe not. But they are the biggest lobby. Corporate lobbies are the biggest lobbies against a flat tax.
There
Yes?
should be a federal sales tax that's only maybe a few cents. Then people who hide their money, they buy anything in the United States, including, people who come here from other countries that don't pay taxes, right? Drug dealers, okay, they make a lot of money, right?
So we should
They
also.
buy a plane, they're gonna pay the government a certain amount of money on what they buy in this country. Every single thing they buy. That would have people that don't pay taxes in this country at least paying into it.
They do already through taxes, through sales taxes.
Yeah, but there should be more sales tax.
No!
Okay,
This is gonna screw me over.
a few
I already
cents
pay
tax.
35%, I don't wanna raise my tax. Are you